Prima facie legal definition. Related content. A Latin term literally meaning at first appearance or on the face of it. It is used in both civil and criminal law to denote that, on its face, sufficient evidence exists to support a case.
Only 1 in 10 trials come through with a guilty conviction. But that doesn't make sense because 9 women aren't lying. That is just how difficult it is to prove these things, and I don't think the public really understand that. And there's the cases that become really public, like we've had recently. You look in the media and you see people go, "Oh well, she must be lying if he didn't get convicted," and you go, "That makes no sense. Women aren't lying." And I think if you want to see how it happens and why this system needs to change, because it really is, the victim goes on trial, not the assailant. I think if you're ready to face that and ready to have difficult conversations with people about that, you should see this play.
Plot outline. Every winner might be the one who loses the next day. Tessa is a thoroughbred, a young, brilliant barrister who loves to win. She has worked her way up from working class origins to be at the top of her game, defending, cross-examining and lighting up the shadows of doubt in any case. An unexpected event forces her to confront the lines where the patriarchal power of the law, burden of proof and morals diverge. Jodie Comer, the Emmy and Bafta award-winning star of TV's Killing Eve as well as Free Guy and The Last Duel, makes her West End debut in the UK premiere of Susie Miller's award-winning play, Prima Facie, which takes us to the heart of where emotion and experience collide with the rules of the game. Justin Martin directs this solo actor tour de force at the intimate Harold Pinter Theatre for a strictly limited season. Jodie Comer and West End Prima Facie partner with Schools Consent Project. Consent will be the topic of the show. An educational partnership with the West End production of Prima Facie aims to promote and discuss consent issues in schools. While at the Harold Pinter Theatre, the show will collaborate with the Schools Consent Project, providing free tickets and ancillary support to 10 partner school groups. Additionally, the production will raise money and donate to the project. "We are delighted to partner with Jodie," said founder and former barrister Kate Parker. "It was a pleasure to work with James and the entire Prima Facie team during its 2-month run at Harold Pinter Theatre. In our lawyer-led consent workshops for young people across the country, we discuss subjects such as consent, the criminal justice system, and the experience of women every day. We are excited about the impact of this partnership on the behavior and thinking of the youth we work with. The production is radical for a West End stage, as is its willingness to reach beyond the West End. As part of the Schools Consent Project, professionals visit secondary schools to teach about consent while also normalizing conversations about the topic among young people. Among the things that Jodie wished had been available to myself and my friends as a child is the Schools Consent Project. I think this is a truly inspiring initiative, and it gives me great pleasure to be a part of it." Self-Esteem, also known as Rebecca Lucy Taylor, commented, "I am often asked how can this be changed and what can be done. An us versus them mentality is irrational. The system is ingrained from birth and the only way to change it is through education. I am excited to support and work with this charity and find a way to make a difference and bring about a change together. The complicity of women works hand in hand with the entitlement that men are taught and encouraged to have. If I had been taught in school to even slightly ask for more, my life would have played out differently." Producer James Beeman says, "We're all honored to have the opportunity to pay tribute and support the vital and brilliant work that Kate and her team do up and down the country at the Schools Consent Project, in order to change the horrific levels of sexual assault we see in this country. We as a society have to change how we view and talk about consent. Educating young people makes the future a better place thanks to the Schools Consent Project." Prima Facie will begin performances at the Harold Pinter Theatre on the 15th of April. Jodie Comer will make her West End debut in Susie Miller's Prima Facie, which follows a barrister, Tessa, who is sexually assaulted, with the audience acting as witnesses to the attack and its consequences. It is the intent of Miller to show the rape in a non-voyeuristic way and to let the audience witness what Tessa goes through. The audience and the jury. There is no, "Did it happen, didn't it?" there with Tessa. They know, which I thought was really powerful, said Jodie. The story is a timely one in today's current climate, something that has not been missed by Jodie. She commented, "It's so present and so upsetting. When you do material like this, it feels so relevant to today, but sadly there has never been any other way." Regarding the Me Too movement, she said, "I think I've noticed it in myself as well. finding out my own boundaries and what's right for me and what's not right for me, and being able to voice my opinion. I wish I would have found that earlier, but you have to go through your own experiences in life, so that's how I feel the change. But I haven't had any awful experiences to speak of. I've been extremely lucky. Additionally, she expressed gratitude to the women she had worked with and to the show Killing Eve, saying, "To work on a show like that has made me who I am today. I've been lucky that a lot of the women I've played have been so fully fleshed out and colorful that now it's set the bar." Despite her success, Jodie is keen not to take anything for granted, saying, "I think you'll always have a moment when you walk into a room and you think, oh wow, how did I get here? I hope I never get too comfortable. I think it's nice to have those moments, but I definitely feel more steady in myself now."
I say before all of you, I spoke the truth.
A most unspeakable charge has been brought against you.
I will not be silent.
Hello, my name is Susie Miller. I'm a playwright and the writer of Prima Facie, which I'm extremely excited to announce is coming to... Lee Lewis is the artistic director of Queensland Theatre because she also directed this play when it was first produced at the Griffin Theatre in Sydney. And also the play happens to be dedicated to her as one of the wonderful creative leaders of this country. When we had this play on in Sydney, we had lots of amazing audience members, and many of them cornered me afterwards if I was at the show and told me their own personal experiences of some of the themes that the play touches. We also had one night which was all female judges, female barristers, female solicitors and lawyers, and that show was just astonishing because afterwards we had up to a 2-hour question and answer where together we thought of ways that we could change the legal system and actually make our voices heard. So it's a way that we can change the world with theatre. That's what I'm hoping. One of the lines from the play that I most love, and I'm going to read it out to you, it's quite a long one, so bear with me. And it reads, "This is Tessa Onsler in court, but after 763 days, all 10 tracks in my brain are lighting up. I have found my voice. It's a different voice, but it's mine. I keep speaking. I can hear objections over and over. I object, trying to drown out my voice, but I do not waver." And I think that sums up where we get to with Tessa by the end of the show. But the journey to get there is one of many highs and many lows, and many exciting moments, and many moments where we also realise the system isn't working the way it should be.
Review. Prima Facie, Griffin Theatre Company. Susie Miller's one-woman play Prima Facie is an unsparing study of the Australian legal system's treatment of sexual assault cases. The play, which opened to standing ovation, concludes with a simple but compelling statement spoken by the character Tessa, played by Sheridan Harbridge: "Something has to change. This is not a plea, and it is more forceful than a call to arms. It is a voice of steely reckoning that contains within its very timbre the rage of being a woman. The voice not only carries the rage, its strength comes from having been conditioned by it. Tessa is a criminal defense barrister who is proudly at the top of her game, having conquered class and gender barriers to get there. She enjoys the pace of the kill and plays expertly on witness vulnerabilities, with sleek mastery of the unemotional palette needed to win. In the words of 1980s feminist playwright Carol Churchill, Tessa is a top girl, a career woman who believes she has accessed patriarchal power by reaching the higher echelons of her field. Then Tessa is raped by a colleague. Her journey is one from enabler of the legal system to its victim. It shows how rape ruptures not only body and psyche, but the narrative that binds them together. Yet the legal system expects coherence. Where rape ruptures sense of self, the legal system demands that a witness speak from a place of reasoned agency. In the age of Me Too, Prima Facie puts on the record that women's experiences of assault have been silenced for as long as women have been abused by men and systems of power. It offers similar insight into the legal system to Queensland author Bree Lee's award-winning 2018 memoir, Eggshell Skull. The play states the problem plainly. A woman's experience of sexual assault does not fit the male-defined system of truth, so it cannot be truth and therefore there cannot be justice. Miller's text won last year's prestigious Griffin Award for an outstanding play or performance text that displays an authentic, inventive and contemporary Australian voice. It is easy to see why. It is punchy, leaving almost no time for pause, witty and despair, making in equal measure. Harbridge is dynamic as she moves Tessa through varying social vernaculars, such as when she imitates her mum, and into a range of emotional tempos, activating every angle of an increasingly suffocating stage. Barring one exit, Tessa spends 100 minutes on a raised platform that feels much more confining than the usually intimate space of Sydney's Stables Theatre, most often starkly lit, and before an audience who plays quasi-theatrical jury. Harbridge does not miss a beat. Sound is used only occasionally, with the depth of an inner eardrum heartbeat. Sparing projections mark the shifts in time as well as the legalese that Tessa traverses. The understated elegance of these elements allow the physical detail to mold the weight of the story, the rhythmic nuances of Miller's script, their expression through Harbridge's Tessa, and their unflinching, empathic direction by Lee Lewis. This production seems to make clear that beyond the law, it is female labor, in myriad guises, which tries to change the present in view of its history. Structurally, the play performs a process of finding voice. Narratively, this is conveyed as Tessa's coming to terms with her own experience, a conflict that she describes as landing between legal truth and autobiographical truth. Beyond this particular story, the process of finding voice becomes a comment on the theatrical form itself. Where legal avenues fall short, theatre can testify, the play seems to declare, only it does so differently, and for different ends. In her program notes, Miller draws her background as a lawyer into focus, explaining that the work has been playing out in her mind since her law school days. The implication here is that the inadequacies of the legal system in part led Miller to carve new ways of making justice happen. In the play, Tessa finds her voice, explaining, "It's a different voice, but I keep talking." Perhaps this is a subtle nod to Miller's own trajectory into the realm of theatre as tribunal. Prima Facie shows how rape becomes nullified by the legal system, which fails to recognize the ways in which this form of violence shatters. Prima Facie's strength is that it fashions itself out of the shards of this shattering, and this is why it is so compelling and so resonant. Killing Eve star Jodie Comer will be making her stage debut next year in the UK premiere of Susie Miller's award-winning play Prima Facie, playing at the Harold Pinter Theatre from the 15th of April to the 18th of June, 2022.